So yeah, I'm going to go live. Okay, we are live.
Amazing.
Yeah, and what I'm just going to do is I'm going to share my. Okay, so that's your screen. Okay. Now I hope and strongly believe that my screen is seen. You see my screen?
Right. I can see your screen.
Right. Okay. Great. Perfect. Okay. So welcome everyone. We are thrilled to have you join us. Join us for this exciting online meetup on Azure skills. Whether you are new to Azure or looking for deep in your expertise, we are confident you'll find valuable insights and knowledge today. So this event is part of our ongoing series aimed at fostering a community of Azure enthusiasts and professionals. We believe in the power of knowledge, sharing, and networking to enhance our collective understanding and capabilities in using Azure effectively. A little bit about our speaker. We are honored to have distinguished speaker with us today. Hamid is an expert in Azure with extensive experience in cloud architecture. He will be sharing his insights on Azure developing skills today. And I hope he will give the necessary information in detail about himself in next minutes. Regarding our upcoming speakers, so stay tuned for our future events where we will continue to bring in top-notch speakers from the Power Platform community and also Python community. Our upcoming speakers are Andrei Haidarov from Georgia, who is going to talk about Power Platform, and Kadeisha Bryan from USA, who is going to talk about just Python. Okay, a little bit about meetup rules. To ensure a smooth and productive session, we kindly ask everyone to adhere to the following rules. Please mute your microphone when not speaking. Use the chat function to ask questions or make comments. Be respectful and considerate of others. Just kindly note that this meetup is live streaming on YouTube. We have Q&A session and all the necessary information, if there is, subject to sharing, will be shared with you as soon as the meetup, this meetup ends. Regarding our session schedule, the first 5 or 6 minutes is related to introduction that I'm doing right now, and then I will deliver stage to our speaker who will present, and at the end of this session, who is going to answer to all your questions. And last but not least, I kindly ask you stay connected. I encourage you to stay connected with us and with Green Data Innovators Meetup Group. Kindly ask you to join us for future events. And once again, I thank you for joining us today, and I hope you will enjoy the session. Here, I would like to deliver my, I would like to stop sharing and deliver stage to our lovely speaker, Hamid.
Amazing. Thank you so
Hamid.
much, Ilgar.
Thank
That's
you.
an honor
Stage
to be
is
here.
yours.
Pleasure. Thank you. I'll start with sharing my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes. Yes.
Amazing. Thanks for this great introduction, Ilgar. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Really happy to be here. And I'm just going to start with good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the world you are. I hope you're doing amazing. And thanks for joining. Being here means we are all at the same path. We are all learner mindset. We are all grow mindset. We are ambitious to learn in a daily basis. So this is what these golden session series that I started several months ago in the community, and then it started to spread out with different communities. And today I'm really happy, thrilled also to be here with Ilgar, because before the session we also had a chat and we just realized we are sharing the same common mother tongue, and we started talking each other, and I'm now feeling so calm and also happy to being in this community feels like home. So developing Azure skills, learning paths, and resources for aspiring solution architects. You see the role it calls solution architects. However, you will see by the end of the session that something will change about this session and it will become a little bit of interesting. Let's move forward. So yeah, first of all, let's chat a bit. So where are you joining from? What do you do? How many experiences do you have? You can just put in the chat and we can get to know each other a little bit more. And then I will introduce myself. So just be comfortable, not being shy, just put in the chat.
Mainly, from Azerbaijan and also from USA.
Okay, amazing. So I can say merhaba to everyone, selamlar to everyone who's joining from Azerbaijan. And yeah, this is great to be here. Yeah, any questions you might have, and most probably you will have some questions during the sessions. As Elgar also mentioned, you can put in the chat and we will have time to talk about the questions. I'm going to start with Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn communities, tech community, and learning rooms. So because the aim of the session is also to provide you with resources and show the path actually. So being as a professional to beside you as a learner mindset and learning in a daily basis. So we are going to create that identity in our mindset, how to get those resources and how to get benefit from those resources and how to consume those resources in the right way that we can have full comprehension from those resources. So this is Microsoft Learn. This is Microsoft Learn communities and tech communities and people who are active within Microsoft Learn. So in all of the sessions previously and also with the sessions together with Microsoft Learn, I'm happy to share that now it's being turned into a hashtag, make it your homepage. So really not beside the hashtag itself, really make it your homepage. Making it your homepage every time opening your browser, so you will be triggered of searching for something or seeing some kind of updates about any kind of path you are following. So get involved within Microsoft Learn communities, Microsoft Learn learning rooms. You can also use the link aka.ms/learning rooms to go and check for different kind of learning rooms with different kind of aims that each professionals, MVPs, RDs, and the professionals like Elgar, also everyone in the learning rooms are happy to answer your questions and also share their experience, including myself together with the fellow learn experts, MVPs, as mentioned, Microsoft employees. And this is the opportunity where the learning and getting resources starts. So make it your homepage and get involved in different communities. So today's agenda starts why I'm calling this session a Golden Session series. So we are in an episode of that series now. Developing the skills, how we are going to develop those skills. Remember CLCD, it is coming from CI/CD if you are in automation and DevOps area. So I've just come up with an idea of continuous learning and continuous development, and I'm so happy that I can see in different sessions it's being used and now by professionals and also learnings. Also networking, we will get into it, how to get resources and where to get resources. So remember from previous slide, we started with Microsoft Learn, learning rooms, communities. Those are all those agenda somehow are connected together, from networking to building the mindset to seeing the identity, developing the skills, and not just being technical, but also getting some soft skills, not being 100% of technical. This is in our agenda. And eventually your path on becoming the reason also I put those 3 dots, because at the end of the session, you are going to decide about which Azure path you are going to follow. You are going to become a solution architect, a data architect, an AI architect, an Azure infrastructure architect, an engineer. It's totally up to you. Here in this session, we are just going to build the mindset and together with the resources nowadays we have in our hands now. So my name is Hamid. I'm Microsoft MVP, MCT, and Learn expert. Currently leading 2 communities within Microsoft Learning Rooms. Here's my website, LinkedIn, X profile, and YouTube channel. Feel free to ping me, write me any questions, literally any questions you have in your mind. So you can just ping me. I'm always trying to be active and answer your questions. So let's get it started. Why I just come up with an idea of calling it a golden session. I mean, it might sound a little bit ambitious, but every experience you share as a learner or as an experienced professional is also a golden experience for yourself. So just write it down, try to record it, and try to share it. As much as you write it down, as much as you share it, it becomes more, and it become more, you become more experiencing it, and you are never going to forget it. So I really love to to share about basics and fundamentals in most of the sessions, because with a strong foundation, fundamentals and basics, we are never going to, of course, we will be facing some kind of questions and technical issues during our day-to-day work, but with the strong foundation, fundamentals and basics, we are going to decrease it, having a great understanding of what's happening in our environment, what's happening in the day-to-day tasks we are doing. It's based on the ups and downs, the things I've experienced, I saw in different teams, in different environments, and different industries that are in different industries doing the cloud automations and architecture. And this is the result of all those things that I've just summarized in around 13 to 14 slides for today, and learning journey and career journey as well as part of those experiences. So let's get started with developing skills. How to develop skills, and where should I start from? As mentioned in the first slide, Microsoft Learn is your homepage. So make it your homepage. So it starts from there, making some technical resource your homepage and putting them in front of your eyes. It will at any time will trigger you to learn about something new. Even the 1% rule, which is a famous rule all over the world, even 1% that you try to learn on a daily basis doesn't matter. So Microsoft, why I'm mentioning Microsoft Learn, because we are trying all together in the same ship. They are trying to learn about Microsoft technologies, and so we need Microsoft resources and documentations to have a great comprehension and understanding of those technologies. So the reason I'm mentioning always Microsoft Learn, this is because the richest place ever that you can find contents about those things that you are trying to learn. So as mentioned, this is just a start, making it your homepage. You can also put some learning applications and trying to make some bookmarks on YouTube and different channels, different platforms. Just anywhere you go, anywhere you turn in your laptop, on your phone, you see an opportunity, a trigger to learn something about new. So for instance, you see there is an update to, for instance, Azure Virtual Machines. There is a new update to Azure Functions. What is PaaS? What is SaaS? What's happening in those areas, in those industries? So you'll start to at least learn one best practice in that area, which is going to build your learning and eventually affect your career path. So this becomes your developing learning habits in a daily basis. Creating that identity also that matters. So which kind of background you're coming from, what are you doing now, and what you really try to be. So most of the questions I sometimes get in sessions and or LinkedIn or emails or learning rooms, where should I start? So yeah, now we know where we should start. Now, how should we build the foundation? And it's really interesting. Most of the questions I'm also getting, what should I learn? So this is exactly where the phase of where you come from as the study background, work background. No worries if you don't have a work background, it's totally fine. What you really love to do in your career, what you really want to achieve in your career. So this is exactly where you create that identity. Start trying, start doing trial and errors, start by breaking the technology in your environment. This is where you really start to see, did you really love that breaking that, or that didn't trigger anything in you? So if you really saw some trigger and you get enthusiastic and motivated about seeing what's happening after you broke that technology or after you implemented that laboratory, this is the identity that it starts. So you might love becoming a programmer, you might love following a developer path with Microsoft Learn and Microsoft technologies. You might would love to continue a path with Microsoft AI technologies, with Microsoft data technologies, or Azure technologies, becoming an infrastructure architect, an engineer. So this becomes by trial and error. So seeing the identity is really where, together with where to start, it builds the foundation for you. So the CLCD mindset, I really love it to share and talk about it for hours. I'm sometimes also looking from the psychological side of this, how this could help learners and even professionals to build the blocks of learning and also the habit. What we are looking here to build is building learning habits and developing it in a daily basis. So this cycle, try to make a screenshot, but I would be happy also to share the slides afterwards if you're interested to have a look at it and just to have it as a content. So learn, achieve, reward. So learn from previous slides what we shared about building it, seeing the identity, and start by learning. And start by learning and see the achievement after several months. Set a goal for yourself and say in 3 months and 6 months, in a year, just step by step, with baby steps, just follow that path and try to achieve it. What does achievement means? It could be a goal for yourself, like getting certified or getting the badge for that learning path or for that certification, or getting into an interview for a role that you're really interested in a company you're interested to work in. That you can, doesn't matter what's the outcome of the interview, by the way, it's totally fine. It is an experience, just experience it. It's not always gonna be 100% of getting the offer. So this is, let's keep it aside. This is another topic. However, we just want to experience here. So the goal is to experience and love it, learn it, achieve it, and then reward yourself by 1 week of doing nothing, several days of doing nothing, and just enjoy that achievement and try to recover again and continue the path again. So this is the cycle which really personally helped me a lot, and I'm still doing it, and I'm getting feedback from the community, and that's the reason I always try to have this slide in every session and every presentation. So don't forget this chart. Let's get ahead. So with that said, as far as you remember, so this is the next slides, and also firstly in our agenda as mentioned. So it's not always technical, as mentioned, it's also a bit of mix of soft skills as well. And somewhere in some roles, soft skills is even higher in priority comparing to technical. So doors for learning opportunities. With networking, you're opening doors for learning opportunities and career opportunities. There is a path to grow with networking. So what does the networking itself mean? It means connecting with your local experts in the same area that you want to become that identity, that the things that you want to learn on that path. So attending events, conferences, sharing your experience and using the people's experience, making some friendships and network. So that is exactly how the journey of really the sweetness of the journey starts, with networking. Try to connect people, try to follow professionals. It's totally fine. They really love to help you. They really love to answer questions. And that's the reason why we are all in the community, because we really all love to share. We really love to ask questions. We are curious. With the word we, I mean you, all of us together. And the most important one here also starts with LinkedIn. This is not an advertisement. I'm really, most of the the most active social media I'm using is LinkedIn. And I see a lot of opportunities for people that comes from there. It's a professional network, and you can connect with your area in that professional channel and try to use their experiences, because those people are always sharing, and you always try to share as well. Try to ask questions. If people approach you, try to connect them and try to follow MVPs. Are these Microsoft employees? Just try to connect. One network connects you to thousands of networks. Another network tries to thousands of networks of people. And this is where the importance and as mentioned, the sweetness of the learning and career opportunity comes up. Some people will approach you with some crazy ideas that will trigger something in you to learn more about it, that you might be having not even an idea what was that. And then there is the new doors to learning new stuff and experiencing new stuff. Some people, recruiters, professionals, hiring managers will approach you. They will like your profile. They will offer you some kind of roles. And this is the career, a door to the career opportunities. So networking is also one of the most important things in this path. As mentioned, Microsoft Learn is the richest resource ever for you. Now, I remember why, as mentioned, to make it your homepage. This is here we are going to summarize a little bit. So I'm going to iterate a little bit here more about Microsoft Learn. So spending a little bit time, an hour, 2 hours a day, would be really helping you to explore more about Microsoft Learn. So try to go through the different kind of training modules, check for different training sessions, exam practices, certifications exam, apply the skills. There are tons of millions of content that you can benefit and consume. This is really interesting. You literally can find most of the good best practices that you can also have in your production environment. I mean, I'm not recommending just copy paste, but just use it and try to think about it. And then you will see you're going to have some kind of ideas about those best practices that you are going to build that environment and learn that technology and experience that technology in a different way. As mentioned, check modules, try to build your customized learning path with those modules. At the end of those modules, you will achieve something. So this is where you will feel happy. You will have something in your transcript you can share with your network. The people you connected in your network will realize about it. It will trigger hundreds of events for you. People will like, people will congratulate you, people will connect with you, will follow you, you follow them back, and see how all of them are connected all together, from building the identity, seeing it, learning, setting the goals, connecting, and here we are. Now you are going to really enjoy that path that you created for yourself. My most interesting part, soft skills. So here, the power of the storytelling comes into play. Not in an advanced level, but just try to have a simple search on Google to see how knowing your audience, making something short, but delivering the message is really, how it is important to having it in your presentations, in having it in your approach, connecting with people in different networks, making networks, ability to negotiate. So with learning those soft skills, this is where you are going to share how you learned those stuff from previous slides. Most of the time, there are great engineers, there are great architects, but they are fully focused on technical and they are really perfect. You ask any question, they can tell you anything about it. However, the way of sharing those experiences, it is really important. So this is the missing point I was seeing in the past several years in most of the professionals, and even including myself. I've just started to see a gap, and I started really filling in that gap with learning techniques, how to share that experience, those things that I've learned from Microsoft Learn, from different kind of seeing videos, attending classrooms, attending sessions, kind of talking to people, and then you want to share them with other people, with other networking, different kind of social medias. This is where today communication matters more than technical. And yeah, maybe it's funny, but no kidding, it really matters. Sometimes your way of communicating, you want to negotiate about something, about a role, about a promotion, a raise. So this is where it matters how you are going to share what you know, what you experienced, what you learned. So that way you can turn them into a storytelling way that you can convince the person who you are talking about, that they can understand, hey, this person is, they know what they're doing. So beside the things, learning paths we are building for ourselves, don't forget storytelling and communication skills. So here the cloud solution architect or solution architect or data engineer, a person with a lot of tools in their pocket. So here I put an example of a role that you can see. For instance, if you are aiming to become an architect, a technology architect, so that can cover cloud architect, AI architect, data architect. A solution architect is about your mindset, is about the summary of the things that we've discovered so far. So this is how you experience and how you approach different kind of solutions. This is where you know different kind of communication skills with the stakeholders, with the team, with engineers, different architects, and this is where your main important role comes into play. This is how you build a mindset during that time, in the several months, in the several years. That depends on how much time you invest to become that identity. It is about the tools you study during that time and you work them. You get experience from all those trial and errors you had during that time. So as mentioned, those trial errors will trigger something in you. Either you will like it to continue and study and learn more about it, or either you put them aside. So experiencing even the failure is also really great. So that way you see, you know, you don't like it. Okay, let's just put it aside. Don't waste time on it. And thinking, and eventually thinking out of box. That is something that might, something that is not in the word yet. So you will start to think about it, and once you start to think about it, you can build it. So this is exactly where the thinking out of box also comes into play. So putting all of them together, the mindset, experience, different kind of tool sets, different kind of tools in your pocket. So once a question comes to you, once a troubleshooting case, a technical issue, or a communication issue that happens in your day. So this is where exactly you will immediately see all those things you experienced just in one less than a second in front of your eyes. So this is where you will start to iterate something out of box. So this is why we really enjoy learning more about communication and soft skills and mixing them together with the technical stuff. So that builds the solution architecture mind in us. So that's all my slides. I hope you really enjoyed it. And now it's time to get certified and build our habits. So we have question and answers time. I hope we are on time. And with that said, I'm gonna share 3 exam vouchers to the people who are asking top questions. So feel free to ask your questions.
I'm muted. That's great. Regarding, say, exam voucher. By the way, which exams? I mean, for which exams are these voucher will be available? For any
Yeah,
kind
of
of, or
course.
just?
These are 50% of exam discount vouchers you can use for fundamentals and role-based exams to get
Okay.
certified. And once you're certified, mention us, mention Elgar also, so you will be happy to see that you got your certification and you are on your learning journey.
Okay, great. So, yeah, actually, I will start delivering questions to you in next business. So, but just taking it an opportunity, I would like to ask you to talk a little bit about Azure DevOps. For what purpose can we use this? And for this, what's required to know? Just a little bit about this, please.
Right, of course. This is a platform for DevOps itself. So the term DevOps, you know, it comes from development and operations. So once you put that term together for automating your environment of having your CI/CD environment, continuous integration and continuous development. However, Microsoft started building their own platform called Azure DevOps on top of Azure. So you can automate your software release cycle with CI/CD pipelines that are being hosted within Microsoft Azure DevOps. However, this not just ends with that. So Microsoft Azure DevOps provides you with different kind of tools like compliancy, connecting with Microsoft Entra ID. You can consume users also from there. You have your Azure DevOps boards. You can control sprints, different kind of boards, your tasks, your product backlog items, which is called PBIs as well. So all this idea, if wanted to summarize like this, so this is all a platform which is called Azure DevOps.
In our company, we are mainly using this Azure DevOps for project management purpose. I don't know in what context it's right or not, but the next question arises. But there are specific, say, project management, management programs. So what does differentiate Azure DevOps from specifically these specific programs? So I'm always thinking about it, but
what do you mean by the programs?
Pardon?
What do you mean by the programs with the project management?
No. For example, there are specific project management programs. For example, Trello, if I'm not mistaken, Trello, Monday.
Right. Yeah.
So these kinds of
Slack,
programs, right?
Yeah.
So what differentiates, for example, Azure DevOps from those softwares, those programs?
Yeah.
So what are the benefits? So
of course. And I mean, this is totally up to organizations and the people who think that would be more easy to use, more easy to get benefits from, and how to integrate it with other kind of technologies that currently we have in our environment. So the benefits could be, in my opinion, as mentioned, easy integration with Entra ID, previously called Azure Active Directory. Beside that, the ease of use. So the kind of the APIs also Azure DevOps serves you that you can integrate with other Azure services. So this could be the most the highest benefit from Azure DevOps if your cloud services deployed within Microsoft Azure or using M365 services. So keeping it in one environment and in one umbrella platform would help you to ease the usage of those services and features, especially from Azure DevOps. I've used some of those other project managements. Some of them are really also good. However, it depends on how your environment is being implemented. What do you have currently in your environment? How users benefit them? How users authenticate? How the authorization handled in your environment? So comparing all of them, you can easily decide about which one to use.
Yeah, Hamid, there is. I got one question from YouTube. And copied and pasted it in the Zoom. If you have opportunity.
Okay, I see the question. Okay, how do you create and manage resource groups in Azure? Why are they important? So let's get started with the hierarchy of how you come to resource group and how you put resource in a resource group and why are they important. Let's start with the second part of the questions. They are important, and somehow, if you say they are not important, but they are part of the way that you have to continue if you want to create a resource. Starting from the highest hierarchy, it is the simplest structure of Microsoft Azure. So you will start with management groups. These are called management groups from high level of when you design your environment, when you try to create a resource, have development environment, have production environment, have acceptance, different kind of environments you try to build. It starts with I don't have it in my slides, but I will try to transfer the imagination. Imagine the management groups on top of the hierarchy, and then the subscriptions start, and which you can call them your billing boundary. So with billing boundary, you can control your payments, your billings, your connected credit cards, how you do your accounting stuff, how you manage the costs within the environment. And with management groups, you can think of governance and compliance on top of it. And after these subscriptions, you have resource groups. So if you want to create a resource within your environment, you need to create a resource group. So resource group, imagine it as a basket in your subscription that it holds resources in specific region. For instance, if you are located in a region A, this is and your clients and users are also in your region A. So it is logical to have your resource group subscription and resources created in region A for better accessibility and latency and many different factors. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much. There is one more question, but before this question, I would like to ask one thing. You talked about the region. So, first question, for example, in recent days, we wanted to create a VM, virtual machine, for, say, just one purpose. I'm not going to talk about it, but we faced with a restriction. So is there any specific restriction for Azerbaijan or something like this?
Where you try to create the virtual machine and what kind of error?
Actually, maybe okay, it's related to specific project, but um, for example, in Dubai, one of our customers, they wanted to create a space where we have to share and distribute our reports. And related to Azerbaijan, there was some restriction. We couldn't do it.
Okay, those kind of restrictions. So looking from high level above, so there are the region restrictions. So not in every country or every region we have Microsoft Azure data centers. So you choose the most closest one. For instance, in this case, the Dubai data center you chose as your region. However, in some cases, after you pass the limitation of choosing the best and closest region and data center to yourself and to your users and client, the data privacy policy comes into play according to the countries. So this is also one of the most important parts. So some companies and some countries, they say if the region and data center is in that specific area, for instance, in EU or in US or in Dubai, UAE, if it's in there, so you are allowed to create and generate data. So keep that data in that data center. If not, that might be a policy also from company, or you go a little bit upper level government policies that restricts creation of those resources for you.
In most cases here, while for these purposes, users prefer West Europe region when they are located in Azerbaijan. So this one more, explain the different types of storage accounts in Azure and their use cases from YouTube. The next question.
All right. Okay. I see.
Okay.
Explain the different types of storage account in Azure and their uses. So storage accounts, you can think of again like a bucket for your different kind of storage. So it could be file shares, it could be blobs, it could be tables, it could be queue storage. So all those items, different kind of storage services, are packed into something. It's called container and Azure storage accounts. So you create if you want to benefit, if you want to use one of those 4 services, blob services, if you need to hold blob data, you need table storage, you need file shares, or you need queue storage. All of those services are really great and really scalable and flexible, by the way, from Microsoft. You need, first of all, to create an Azure storage account to hold those services for you. I hope that answers the different types and also the use cases. I see another question. How we can configure and use Azure Blob Storage for storing unstructured data? So as mentioned, it's totally simple and up to you as the administrator of environment, how you want to create that resource and deploy that resource. If you need Azure Blob Storage for storing unstructured data, that could be any kind of data. So you can create your storage account from portal and just move forward, choose the subscription, choose a resource group, name the storage account. Storage account, by the way, it must be a unique name. It is a globally recognized name, so it creates a link for you afterwards that you can access. So that's why you need to choose a unique and also with a good naming practice for your environment and also globally recognizable URL. So afterwards, you move forward with the configuration. So those configurations could be how you want to keep it encrypted, customer managed keys or Microsoft managed keys, how you want to handle security, could be the networking level, how you want people access your storage, different kind of storage, and that way then you deploy. If you want to deploy over Azure portal, you can use infrastructure as a code and you can deploy also Azure storage accounts in different ways of infra as code with Terraform, ARM, and using biceps.
Hamid, by the way, will you just kind of talk a little bit about the pricing regarding storage on Azure, please?
Of course, there are different kind of tiers, different kind of data accessibility. Let's call it tiers. So up to your usage, how you would like your data to be accessed. If you have frequently accessed data, so you create your storage account and your blob, in this case, for instance, with a hot tier access. And if you have less accessed but less frequently accessed data, you choose the cool tier access. If you have like every quarterly, every half a year access data that they are supposed to be an archive data or backup data, you can choose the archive tier level. So that way the pricing changes for you. So you need to go to Azure Calculator. If you type it in in Google, Microsoft Azure Calculator, so you will simply see in there, and you can just choose the radio button and you will see how the prices change. And by the way, prices are different from region to region. So that's why you choose the closest one and the best one up to your organizational budget. And beside that, you also choose how your data should be available, highly available in different data centers, in different regions, and how we should keep different kind of copies globally and regionally in different data centers. That also affects the pricing for you, which needs to be considered in the design of deployment.
Okay. And by the way, Microsoft offers to educators, like, if I'm not mistaken, $100 per month.
Right.
I mean, storage or to use in Azure. This kind of service is available. It's also available for MCTs and also MI experts. So you can use it. And if I'm not mistaken, it's also available for students. So,
right. If you are a student, you have that credit from Microsoft. If not, you can already, if it's the first time you're signing for Azure, you can get $200 for 12 months. If I'm not wrong, for 12 months, you have $200 that you can benefit from Azure services. You can deploy storage accounts to any other resource.
Yeah, there are questions related to different kinds of storage accounts and Azure Blob Storage configuration, multifunctional authentication, and Azure Functions.
Right. So I see the last two questions. So one is about explain the process of implementing multi-factor authentication. So that multi-factor authentication is a feature that it comes for free with Entra ID. When you sign up for first time, you get a tenant. It is your root directory, and for free you have that feature. So this is up to you, but recommended absolutely to implement it in your environment. So the process starts with choosing the right group, all of the users in the organizations, or for a specific kind of users, you can make a policy about it that it must be deployed to everyone in the organization. So the next time people open their laptop or their phone, they prompt with setting up MFA or multi-factor authentication. So that way you increase the security in your environment. Or you can configure and force it via Azure portal. You can force it via different kind of infra code language. So there are different kind of process for implementing. However, it is specifically in there in Entra ID as a feature that you can build it and force it with different kind of conditions for your users. Next question is, what are the key differences between consumption plan and premium plan for Azure function? As far as I remember, in a recent project I was in about a consumption plan is a free plan from Azure that you can try it and also have it for a small environment. However, in premium Azure functions, you get the more resources and you get more benefits for your Azure functions, which is suggested and recommended for enterprise environments or from big organizations to enterprise environments. If you have high levels of queuing, you are using different kind of APIs within your Azure functions, and you need more resources to handle your requests as well that are coming from your clients. Last question in the chat I see, how do you configure your Azure SQL database for managing relational data? What are the different performance tiers available? So let's get started because I don't know what do you exactly mean by configuring Azure SQL database for managing data. Let's start with that. So the hierarchy within Azure for managed databases. So what you're talking about, it's all in the category of past services for SQL databases. So you put them in there as the managed services, and from there you start with SQL Server at the top of it that you can also force your security settings as well as networking security, controlling the traffic. If you're talking about the configuration of Azure SQL database, and within that you have your Azure SQL databases, that it is totally up to organizational use how you want to have those different kind of configuration, accessibility, readability, the resources that you put in your environment. You want to use Azure Elastic, Azure SQL Elastic service in your environment to have one a big resource of a bucket for your different databases. And beside that, yeah, I guess this is all about, I don't remember that much of configuration for Azure SQL. Beside that, on the server level that you configure most of your access rights and security stuff related to your SQL environment. And the tiers also differs up to your queries, how many queries you make in a second, in a day, in a week, in a month. So that way you can also decide about different kind of tiers within your Elastic environment if you want to have more flexible and more dynamic environment, or in just Azure SQL server level.
Okay. Thank you very much. Once again, would be great if you talk a little bit about the certificates that people can, take.
Of course.
Yes, using this voucher, yeah.
Definitely. Depending, going back to the slides, depending on the path and the identity you want to follow, it's always recommended. Either you are a professional with several years of experience, or just going to start with Microsoft Azure services. Always start with fundamentals. Getting and learning the modules at architectural level, at engineering level, that might seem really interesting and exciting, that we all really want to get the gist of the topic and see what's happening at the higher levels. However, you might also understand what's happening at the higher level. But in most of the case, I really experienced it by myself, and I also saw in different professionals that sometimes you are missing the foundation. Sometimes you don't know about the foundation structural of Azure itself, So what is subscription? How you can control a subscription? How you can control a resource group? What is resource? What are the REST APIs? How you communicate with REST APIs within Azure? What is Azure Resource Manager? What is ARM? So these are all the starts with knowing the foundation. So as mentioned, also I tried to mention several times also during the slides. So always build a great and strong foundation with studying fundamentals and having a great foundation and imagination of the environment of Azure itself. Start with AZ900 and go forward. Then you can choose which path you would like to follow. If you want to really become an expert within Azure, start with Azure AZ900 and then go AZ104 and then AZ305 or AZ700 networking technologies. And then it depends on the path you choose. But first of all, have a great comprehension of Azure environment, at least AZ900, and then follow with AZ104, which will give you the power of administrating your Azure environment. And regardless of which path you want to follow, as mentioned, see Azure AZ900 exam as a start point. Always try to start from there because it will give you really a great idea of what is Azure, what is cloud, what is public cloud, what is private cloud, what is cloud at all, different kind of cloud services, IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, DaaS. So with that, you will realize which path you really would love to continue.
And good news is that 10 days, till the beginning of July in Azerbaijan, there were 5 MVPs, most valuable professionals, and Hamid is one of them. 3 of them were in actually in Azure. Hamid, Izmir, and also Mir Ceyhun. And Mir Ceyhun has a book about Azure in Azerbaijan language, so it's also a good resource. And yeah, and also in Microsoft documentation, Microsoft Learning, you can open your account. There are labs, so you can take these labs and you can read, and also it will help you while also having this voucher. So taking it an opportunity, I would like to thank you, Hamid, and regarding this voucher, actually what I'm doing, I have a question, function that I prepared in Excel among participants. I'm selecting randomly. I don't know, it's a little bit different in your case. So yeah.
Okay. If you want, we can also continue that way. I can share those 3 vouchers with you. You can also share between the learners and the people they engage within this session. So let's get the framework in your session.
Thank you very much. So here, I once again would like to thank everybody who joined, and also on YouTube, also here. So that's all from our side. Stay tuned, and I hope and strongly believe that we'll meet in next months in next events. So that's it.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Hamid, you are staying here, right?
Right, I'm staying here.
Okay. I'm just going to end this stream. So stop live stream. We are not live.